Hello, it's Numerologist Glynis McCants. I hope you're doing well. Today I wanted to talk to you about the power of knowing someone's first name. Because in numerology, what I teach, if you have someone's first and last name they go by, their full birth certificate name, and their full date of birth, you can create a numerology blueprint of who they are. But when you first meet someone, maybe it's a business interview or a business meeting, or maybe it's a first date, just an opportunity where you just aren't allowed to ask those kind of questions. It feels too personal. You always can know someone's first name. So I'm going to give you some hot tips of what you can get from someone when you know the first name, and it comes from the vowels. So just keep that in mind. A-E-I-O-U, and sometimes Y. All right, and I'm going to explain when Y does apply to this rule. So let's go with A. My example is going to be the name Vanessa. Vanessa is my sister and actually works with me, and a lot of people have experienced her energy. So I'm going to explain what it is. The A is a part of that. What does the A promote? It promotes being independent and self-motivated. You know, this is the kind of person you give them an assignment and you say, look, I trust you're going to do a great job, and they will deliver. It's really lovely. What's not good for them, if you're too critical or you watch them too closely, then they have a rebel streak and they're not going to want to do what you said. So just keep that in mind. But it really is a moving forward kind of energy. All right, just think of A as a movement number, got to go, got to do. They get bored easily. So if you're not interested, don't expect them to sit around and listen to you tell a long story. They don't have patience for that. Okay, but if you run a company, it's great to hire some people with the A energy, as long as you can give them separate assignments, say this is all yours, and I know you're going to do a great job. And as for a partner, talk to them about their goals. You know, what are they trying to achieve? If you're the kind of partner who can cheerlead them into success, they're going to really enjoy you, very much so. All right, so I gave you the A energy as the example, but now I'm going to give you some names to look at, okay? There's the names I'm offering. We got Allison, Amanda, Ashley, Adam, Andrew. Look at those name energies and just think about the people in your life that have the A, and you'll start to recognize what I just said, all right? Fine, let's move on to the next one. How about E? E, and we're going to go ahead and remove that little ticker that has those names. Okay, ready? E energy, Eric. So let's say, what is E energy? It's someone who promotes staying busy, like that's the energy. They're busy and they're natural detectives. Now, what that means is if you meet someone who has E energy, do not try to deceive them. They're going to bust you. They will find out. You might say it and you might think you got away with it for a while, but they'll do the research and come back and they'll get you. And I'm going to go ahead and put the names underneath it, under the ticker so you can see. Emma, Elijah, Emily, Ethan, Kagan, Eric, and Jessica. Think about that energy. And these are people, what I love about them when it comes to celebration, like a party, you're going to find people like the name Steve actually pops to my head, but they're the celebrators of life. They want to be at the party. And if you want to impress them on a date, take them to a wonderful dinner with good music, great conversation, and you will win them over. All right? Keep it in mind. This both energy, A and E, high energy people, right? They like to get things done. The shadow side of that energy with the E is drama kind of comes after them. Like there's always a bit of a story. You're going to have to consider that as an employee, but in a relationship, just be aware there are no dull moments with that energy. All right? So A and E. Now let's go to I. I energy. I energy, and I'm going to remove the E ticker. Give me just a second. There we go. Lily is the name I'm going to use. But what it is they're natural leaders, but they have to overcome unresolved issues from the past. This really goes to their family. It's not uncommon. If you talk to someone with that I energy, I'll go ahead and give you some name options so you can think about it. Liam, William, Michael, Isabella, Linda, Christina. The first thing you want to know is, tell me about your family. Now, if they're like, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to my mother in years, I can't stand her. Or, you know, when I was born, my father left when I was like 1 and I never got over it. Pay attention to them talking about issues like that in their life, because if they haven't let it go, it's going to interfere with them being happy right now. But others are just really healthy about it. They're like, you know what? It happened years ago. It's water under the bridge. I learned from it. That's great. but it gives you an opportunity to find out about that part of who they are. The other thing is, if they're at the store, look, if someone's looking for something like, hey, can you help me find this? It's not uncommon if you have the I energy in your name that people think you're going to help them find what they're looking for. And chances are you will step up to do that. That's just coming from the I energy. All right, so make a note of it. This helps you, again, when you meet someone in business or go on a first date and want to get to know that person in your life. All right. Let's move on. We're going to go to O energy, the O energy. Now, my example there is Bob. But these are nurturers. You know, they are the natural leader. These are people who should be in charge of what they do. They would be a little resentful if they have a boss. Like they need to be the boss because they're going to work really hard. I find with O energy, if they're not, they resent the fact that someone's making more money when they're doing all the work. So just keep that in mind with O energy. I'll give you some name examples to play with. You got Olivia, Sophia, Joel, Robert. Just start thinking about O energy. I also think about Oprah because the big O, it's the nurturer who takes care of everyone, right? She doesn't have kids of her own, but she mothers everybody. And if you see it with her pets, clearly her pets are like her children. I have a dear friend named Joe in my life, and his cat, they are his world and they are his kids. So that is one part of the O energy. But again, if they're the boss, all you have to do is be respectful and understand they're not trying to be control freaks. When they're so good at damage control, they're afraid you won't do it. Step up and volunteer. Say, you don't have to worry about this part. I'm on it, because they will be so grateful. All right. So again, O energy should be in charge of what they do. If they're under someone else, there could be resentment. And damage control, they're so good at it that when things are quiet, they panic. They're like, uh-oh, I must not know the truth of what's going on. You know, is the other shoe going to drop? They need to learn to say it is going good and I deserve it. They have to embrace when they get a nice break in life because they're doing so well. All right. And it's magnetic. You'll notice the O energy when they walk in the room, no doubt. Okay, let's move on. How about U energy? U energy, our example here is Susan. Now I say it promotes being a natural communicator, but also they usually have a good sense of humor. Now, humor is a funny thing, no pun intended. Why? Because maybe they think they're funny and you don't. Now I'm going to tell you right now, if you start dating someone who has U energy and you don't enjoy their sense of humor, I strongly advise you not to date them because that's not fair to them. They need someone who appreciates when they're stressed out and they crack a joke, that you get their joke, you know, that you enjoy it. So name options: Lucas, Uma, Susan, Eugene, Bud, Hunter. And just think about those in your life. They also usually have a distinctive laugh. I think of Julia Roberts. Think of Julia Roberts in any movie. I think even when I say that to you, Julia Roberts, you hear her laugh. That's coming from U energy, no doubt. When they enjoy a good joke, it makes you happy. You know, you crack the joke and they laugh so hard, you appreciate the validation, all right? Also, the eyes, the smile, the voice should play a role in the U energy as well. All right, but it is communication. If you want someone in your life who's just quiet, never tells you what's on their mind, again, you're not going to want someone who has U as the first vowel in their name. All right, but let's say it's an interview and this person that's interviewing you has a U. It's okay to ask them questions. They're not going to have a problem opening up and telling you what they think. All right, let's move on. Oh. So let's look at the Y energy. This is unique, okay? It's when the Y is the first thing you see before you see a vowel, all right? So let's grab some Y names. We got Glynis. So I'm going to tell you an example of my own energy of that Y. Kyle, Cynthia, Kim, Ryan, Crystal. Here's what happens with Y energy. Y energy has mystery to it. Y energy is able to observe others, even if they're in conversation. So that means I can be talking to one person, but I'm going to pick up energy and hear other people. So I'll give you an example. I recently did this, went to a party, and it was a social distance party. There was only 6 of us, but we were far apart from each other at the table. Yet when I looked clear across that table, I suddenly could hear the full conversation happening. So that conversation was not for me. I mean, that person was talking quietly, but I could hear it. And I thought to myself, well, that is very much that energy of Y from the name Glynis, that I was able to pick it up. So you also need to understand that if you have someone with that energy, don't think they didn't hear you. You know, they might look like they're busy doing something else. They're picking up everything in the room. And it's important that you know that. The other thing about the Y energy, if you want to impress them, it's love of nature, you know, taking them somewhere pretty, the ocean, mountains, plants, flowers, full moon, just that. If it's a first date, take them somewhere beautiful. You could find a place that's overlooking the water. Wow, you're going to win over someone who has that Y energy. The other thing is, as your boss, just know, again, even if you're on the phone and you're doing your own thing and you think, gosh, you know, he never watches me or is never checking my work. Yes, they are. The Y has mystery. They don't want you to know everything that they're thinking, but they're watching you. And eventually they will speak up, you know, because that's the observer energy. So if you meet somebody, let's say right now you're looking at someone's name, and you're like, wow, that person talks all the time. They don't even seem to have mystery. I would tell you that that's coming from their Numerology Blueprint, which are the 6 numbers that make up a blueprint. Now, how do you get a blueprint? I'm going to go ahead and put this up for you. You go to my website, numberslady.com, www.numberslady.com. You can order a numerology report. It's an individual read that tells you all about that person or all about yourself. The other one is, are we soulmates? This is a chart comparison, and it doesn't have to be a love relationship. It can be you and somebody you just want to understand. Where are you the same? Where are you different? All right, that is available on my website, numberslady.com. So this was my little example for you to learn what can you get from somebody just by knowing their first name. I've written a couple books for you to check out. Glynis Has Your Number. That goes really into learning everything you can about a first name and then so much more. It's like a buffet of numerology, right? It just teaches you every facet of life and how you can apply it to numerology. And then Love by the Numbers is more about your relationships, not just with the love partner, but anyone you want to know more about. These are standalone books, which means you can have both in your library and learn something different from each one. All right, you're welcome to check that out at numberslady.com or hit Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever you like to go. The ebook is also available, and it's a really good time to do some reading. All right, take good care. This is Glynis McCants, numberslady.com.